All right, welcome to the podcast. What's up, Mario?
How are you doing? All good?
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah, me too, man. Thanks for being here. You got caught in traffic out there on Saturday in Cayman, huh?
Yeah, that's a whole thing now on Saturdays. It's consistent. That
Yeah.
ALT roundabout is loaded.
Yeah. That's killer. That's killer. I remember, I think when Thompson first moved out there years ago, there was like a question of why are they moving out there? Because there was nothing out there at the time. But I think,
Really?
yeah, that's what I heard. And then they kind of anticipated, that that's actually where the development's going to go. And sure enough, like you're saying, it's the most
It's
congested
like the hot spot.
roundabout. But yeah. So, yeah, man, I want you on the podcast, man. And the first question I said I wanted to ask you was, how do you get the title cryptographer? Can I be a cryptographer?
You can, though. Yeah. You can. And funny enough, you don't even need a proper certification.
Right.
That's just kind of like what you do on a daily basis. I do have to say that you do need some math foundation. Not too much. People actually always think like, oh, that's like very scary. There's no way I could do it. I'm not great at math because like the cryptography math is a bit different, and that makes sense to me. But to each their own type of thing. But as long as you are working on kind of like that more math side of cybersecurity, you can call yourself a cryptographer.
A cryptographer? Huh. That's interesting because like I hear a lot of people say, when it comes to accounting, I don't know accounting, I'm not good at math. And I'm like, well, accounting, you don't really need a lot of math. It's like plus or minus. And that gets you through accounting. You just kind of got to know where to put everything, right?
Yeah, I feel like the tools these days can help you a lot, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can use today to make your life easier.
Right. So you work in cybersecurity?
No, I mean, they end up being like overlapping fields because if you think about it very logically, is first you're going to start with the math, then that math is going to be turned into code, and then the code is what we, the normal people, are going to use.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a consequence of like the math side of things then results in the whole cybersecurity field. It's kind of like probably somewhere in that pipeline, the developers made a couple of mistakes, and that's where the whole cybersecurity field starts.
Interesting. So, and what you said code, so just general programming?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know how to program?
I do know how to program. I don't really although I've been coding a lot now with AI. Like I've been using a lot of different AI
I've
tools.
thought about that. I'm like, can I code? I don't know shit about coding.
You can 100%.
Yeah.
Actually, like I've been wanting to do like a whole. They call it vibe coding now.
I think I heard about it.
And yeah. You basically use AI to maximize your throughput. And I wanted to do like a whole workshop on how you could basically start a company in like a weekend, even without any like coding knowledge or anything background.
Yeah, I'd come to that workshop. Definitely.
You do need to be careful though, and that's kind of like the whole. So AI is automating a lot of jobs, and it's a whole thing. And what's happening is that AI is not exceptional at coding. It's very good, but when you usually ask it to code like a web app for some type of thing, like say you want to code like an online store for whatever you want to sell, podcasts, stuff. Though the AI is probably going to take a couple of shortcuts, which then will probably mean cybersecurity risks, right?
I see.
Like that software side of things.
Right.
The math is not really very complicated on that side because like that's pretty like standard how that all math works. But the AI is probably going to take a couple of shortcuts there, and that's where you are then setting yourself up for like being hacked and stuff.
Right.
So that's why I always say like cybersecurity is actually most likely going to become even a hotter field because now you're going to have
so many people coding.
A lot of people coding stuff over like a weekend, a week, just using AI. And the AI is going to, again, if you don't know anything about coding, you have no clue what's behind the scenes. Right. So then the people who actually know what's behind the scenes, they can be like, knock, knock. Here's like 10 vulnerabilities in your app, website, whatever it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. If more people are coding, then there's like more chances for people to get in there and mess around with the code, right?
Exactly.
It's just, Interesting. So you're from Portugal?
Portugal. Yeah. So born in Portugal. My mom is from Peru. So I was actually raised in Peru.
Okay.
for a couple of years. I did my kindergarten there, and then spent pretty much most of my life in Portugal, school and university. I got a couple of scholarships here and there, which allowed me to study abroad, but mostly Portugal. Yeah.
So what scholarships did you get?
So at the time, so in Europe, they have kind of like this like special exchange program called Erasmus. And
Erasmus, that's a famous theologian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the way that works is the universities in Europe partner with each other, and then you have like, say, 20 slots every year where students can apply to go and study at those universities. And so I went to Madrid in 2014, and then I went to Romania. I'm not really sure which year. That would have been like 2017. And then in 2017 as well, that was kind of like an extension of the Erasmus program. I did my master thesis in the US. So I got a scholarship to go to the US.
Where were you there?
In Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay, so you went to in 2014. So that was like your first year of college?
No. I went. I got into college in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you study there? Where was that, you said?
Electrical engineering in Portugal.
In Portugal. Huh.
And
okay.
it's funny because, and this is actually kind of like a whole thing. So I studied electrical engineering because pretty much all of my life, I always disassembled electronic components. So naturally, everyone was like, "Oh, it has to be an engineer," and they were like electronics, so it's like electrical engineering.
Right.
It turns out that I actually hated that degree so much.
Interesting.
So much, because
Why?
The math of circuits and electricity is that doesn't really compute.
No, interesting.
Here. But then, so the way it works in Portugal, used to work because now they changed, is you would have like a 5-year program where 3 were undergrad and then 2 were masters, but it was bundled into one.
Okay.
So like Madrid was already some classes from the master's program. And the masters, you have to choose like a major type of thing. You choose within the whole electrical engineering field, which is massive because you count like electronics, computer networks. It kind of like all ends up falling there.
Right.
You choose a specialty, and I chose telecommunications engineering. And literally the last semester before my master thesis, I had a network security class. And that year, the professor teaching that class, he's the best cryptographer in Portugal. And he was subbing for the other professor was on sabbatical.
Is that right?
And that
changed everything.
Changed everything. Yeah. Because that
this was your last year.
Yeah.
In one of the last classes.
And I hated electrical engineering.
And it wasn't even your teacher. It was a sub that came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I was going to do like computer networks. Literally when I got to the master's program, I was like, you know what? I kind of like don't really dislike computer networks. I can be like a network engineer type of thing. And then that cryptography class was game changer. And I remember like first class, I was like, wow, this is it. Because he was that good. And then I talked to the professor and I was like, oh, I have to choose my master thesis topic. I want you to be my advisor. So cool. that was a whole thing. Yeah.
And so what did you do after that experience with that teacher then? Where did that sort of lead you?
So
did you like go and study cryptography or what?
So you end up learning the foundations within that class. So that network security class, that year that he was subbing for the other professor, it was more math heavy rather than like cybersecurity wise. It was more on the math side of things. And then the master thesis, you actually get to choose kind of like what you want to study and research. So we chose a cryptography topic.
Okay.
And that's where I started doing... Because my background, even though crypto now is like cryptocurrency, my background is literally like the math, the cryptography side of things. 2
kind of different things, right?
Yeah. I mean, they overlap a lot because a cryptocurrency is a currency secured by cryptography. That's kind of like within the name. But I actually started as a like a cryptographer, but working in anonymous communications. So that's what I used to do.
What does that mean?
So like military applications, imagine even like espionage type of thing. So which is it was probably the most exciting job I've ever had. It was like the first job right out of college. But that whole math is fascinating. So imagine you're the like NSA, whatever, you're an intel agency. So I keep it agnostic.
Yeah.
You're an intel agency. You send an agent to the Middle Eastern. They have complete control of the network there, right? So they have control of the antennas, like it's different providers, different everything. How can you communicate with the headquarters back home securely without them breaking the communications? That's kind of like the whole, if you think like World War II, how like the movie, The Imitation Game, right? Where
I did see that one, yeah.
Alan Turing breaks the cipher and then
It's a cryptography. Yeah. Huh.
So that whole thing changes cryptography as you know it today.
Right.
Because of the lessons learned from breaking that enigma.
Enigma, that's what it was called, right? And that was the German machine, I guess, that they couldn't break. And then they found like some plans for it in a plane that came down or something.
So basically, Alan Turing, and you see this obviously like a bit more theatrical in the movie, but he realizes that every single communication starts addressing Hitler. So it always starts the same way.
Okay.
So he knows exactly what text the first line is supposed to be encrypting.
Okay.
So then from there, he had the records for every single communication that was done. Okay. So then he was able to invert it because he knew he had to match like addressing
Hitler at the beginning.
Yeah. So that today no longer happens. And that's the most fundamental, it's one of the first things that you're going to learn in cryptography, is if I send you a message that says, hey, how are you today? And in an hour, they cannot encrypt to the same thing, and they have to be like very, very different. They need to look like gibberish.
Right.
Very indistinguishable. And yeah, so it's just like lessons learned. Like cryptography, the math today is built on centuries of these little lessons learned over the...
It's amazing to me the British were very sort of like avant-garde because they invented the radar, which the Germans didn't have at the time, right? So that was kind of their advantage in the air. They could tell the Germans were coming. And then, you know, this whole the cryptographers that they had that broke Enigma, like they were just sort of on, you know, on the forefront of technology there, which I always found interesting, like that they would be there, you know.
To this day, they remain a superpower in the field.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Huh. The cryptography labs out of the universities in the UK are next level.
Huh. Interesting. Who is this? I read. Oh man, I'm not gonna remember this. But for some reason, I got into cryptography like for like a half second, a couple of years ago, and it was this author, and he wrote this little short story about cryptography. Oh man, I don't know, but it was very interesting, and he came up with different ways to like. You know, this was before the computer, I think. Okay. And they would like wrap paper like around this jar or something, and then the only way to decode what they were doing is you'd have to get a jar of the same size and then like rewrap. And there's all these crazy things. I was like, wow, like how old is this science?
Yeah.
How old is the science actually?
I mean, it dates back at least to Caesar, so like ancient Rome type of thing.
Right.
So, and that's what you would. That's probably the first thing that you would learn in cryptography would be the Caesar's cipher and how you can break it.
Huh.
And the Caesar cipher is basically you just swap, instead of like having the alphabet like ABC, you basically just shift it a bit. So instead you map the A to like
B or
F.
Or
if you shift
whatever.
one, it just go, and then it's just a little shift.
Right.
And then if it's B, it's one more, and then you just keep going. And so Caesar used to talk and communicate using that cipher. So like the people would actually see the text and it would mean nothing. But then one of the first things you actually learn in cryptography today would be how can you break that? And this is pretty interesting because if you look at how languages work, there's letters are used way more than other letters. So like vowels obviously will appear more.
Right, like in is it Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune where they give you
yeah,
R's, T, L, and
exactly.
E?
So exactly. So you have like those strategies to try to find like the optimal word.
Right.
What you can always do in this type of what's called a substitution cipher, because you're substituting a letter for another,
Right.
is just count the number of occurrences.
Huh.
And then imagine like A is used like 13% of the time.
Right.
And then if there's a letter there that is used 13% of the times, you go like, boom, that's A.
Huh.
And then you can swap it right away. So we actually had this assignment in that same class where you're supposed to measure like the probabilities and everything. And what I did was actually something it's pretty like, almost like the definition of a shortcut. So you're always shifting. So at most you can shift 24, which is like the number of letters on the alphabet.
Okay.
So that's what you can do at most.
Right.
So I literally, while everyone is writing code to try to find the percentages and everything, I literally just wrote the code that tries out all the 24 combinations. And then I opened all 24 files and I saw which one worked.
Huh.
And the professor wasn't really impressed, but he was also impressed at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, listen, I did this.
It got the job done.
And much faster than everyone else.
Right,
like those
right.
guys are still trying to debug stuff. I already know that it's like file 15.
Right.
That has like, I know that the substitution is 15. He didn't give me max grade though. I feel like I should have gotten max grade because it did get the job done, right? And I think that's like the big difference between the industry and academia to an extent, right? In academia, you're going to look very closely at the process, the best way to do the process. But things end up being like very slow because you're looking at the process. And in the industry, stuff needs to get done.
Right, right.
People need to use things.
Yeah. Huh. I feel like that's in multiple disciplines. It's kind of always like that. You know, like the academics are pretty slow into themselves, and then they sort of get upset when you have like a podcast historian giving history about World War II.
Yeah,
and the academics are like, no. It's like, well, you know.
And like, if it's not you, it's not going
to be someone else. Like, are you doing it?
Like,
what are you doing back
why
then?
don't you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
interesting. How
perfect is the enemy of the good, right?
Right. And you know, I hear people say that a lot about Bitcoin as well, because, you know, some people complain that, you know, it's old tech or it's slow. But, you know, the flip side of the coin is that it gets the job done. You know?
Yeah.
It does what it says it's going to do, and there you go. Like, you know?
And that's a whole like can of worms, the whole Bitcoin thing. People really underestimate how much it changed the game. Like if you look at, and we're talking about cryptography, and distributed systems is actually like fairly similar. The cryptography field starts like for real, and in the sense that it changed forever in the late 70s, where there's these like two guys, they introduced this paper that creates the notion of public key cryptography. So the stuff we use for Bitcoin, the wallets, etc.
Right.
That is fairly recent.
Right. The 70s is when that was developed. Who are those guys?
So we have Whitfield Diffie and Martin Hellman. So they create what's called the Diffie-Hellman key exchange, which is also something you learn pretty early in a cryptography class. And that changes cryptography as you know it, because up to that point, things are very different. But all of a sudden now, you can encrypt for a public key. There's this idea of a public key, like you have like a padlock that you can send to other people and they can encrypt to you, and only you can open it. And with some kind of like spooky magic, math type of thing, that it works. And to this day, it's used like literally if you go to any type of website and you see a little padlock there, most likely, especially today, you would be using the Diffie-Hellman key agreement.
And so that's what that is, the public key. Is that the private key as well? Are those things?
It's those two things. That notion of public key cryptography is that now you have these two things.
Right.
And you can give one party one key, and other people can even see that one, and they cannot do anything with that information. Right. Which changes the game, right? So like this, and we were talking earlier about, say you are in a foreign territory, Middle East and you need like to communicate back home, that would be a way to do it, right? Because now you know you have a key that you know the guys, like people can actually send you that key and you can use that. So that's kind of like the foundation for those things.
So it just makes it a whole lot safer then.
Yeah, and easier. It makes it
easier.
much easier because if you think like before that, the way it worked is you would have one key and I would have the exact same key. And we could kind of like encrypt and decrypt, but it would always be with the same key. But if someone wanted to talk to me, I needed to talk to them in person first, or there would need to be something secure to give them that key.
Right.
And usually that kind of defeats the purpose of even having, because if you can communicate with me privately to give me the key, you can just communicate with me privately to tell me whatever you need to tell me, like to send me the message, right? Unless we're then going to go on with our lives and keep talking to each other, you can just send me the key. So the whole thing and the whole, I think it's called New Directions in Cryptography. That's the name of the paper. I should know this.
The one from the 70s that those guys created?
Yeah.
Huh.
And literally that then kickstarts cryptography as we know it today.
Right.
So then from there's a very famous cryptographer. So they won the Turing Award for that.
Back then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, obviously, we were talking about World War II. Alan Turing, such a big, like, renowned figure in the space. They create the Turing Award, which is like the computer science equivalent of the Nobel. Right. And those two win the Turing Award for that work,
for that paper,
in cryptography. And then when they present that work, there's a very reputable professor who retired recently. So he's an MIT professor, one of the best cryptographers that has ever lived. His name is Ron Rivest. Ron Rivest sees that talk and he goes, I'm going to create, like, he's going to tweak it a bit. So he's going to create like a different type of public key cryptography.
Okay.
And he then goes spend a lot of time on that, and they create what's now called RSA, right? Which R is for Rivest, S is for Shamir, and A is for Edelman.
What's that?
It's a way to encrypt stuff, also like this notion with of the public keys and private keys.
Okay. It's an improved version of it?
So it's a different way of doing. So you can actually sign messages as well. So it gives you like a whole myriad of things. And funny enough, if you go on a website today and it has a little padlock, you are either using RSA and or the elliptic curve Diffie-Hellman. So those two things that I just mentioned now, that's what's securing every single
website.
Yeah. So every time you see a padlock, it's literally one of these two ciphers.
There you go, right there on ChatGPT. There's
the so
padlock.
if you click there on that little padlock, and then you see like click on connect and secure, can you see the certificate there? No. More information. Yeah, there, that should show you the actual certificate. So then you would have view certificate on the right there. And that will show you, look, elliptic curve there.
Why do you say elliptic curve? What does that mean?
There. It's just then.
Wow.
Yeah, so you use elliptic curve DSA. Go down a bit, because then how are they doing? Keep going down. Kind of curious.
Huh.
Yeah, so like, but you see, like they're signing messages.
Crazy. Yeah, it's funny to me, because I've only really became interested in this since I got into Bitcoin and cryptography. But it's just amazing to me that all this is sort of just going on in the background. And you can't know everything in life, right?
Yeah.
But to know that Bitcoin didn't come out of the blue. It kind of it evolved out of all these different things like happened in the 70s with those guys, and everything else that happened after that. Before Bitcoin could do what it did, and it's just fascinating to me that people would spend their life doing this stuff and understood why it was important to do.
Yeah.
Because I used to take it for granted. Like, it wasn't a part of my life, but it helped my life, even though I didn't realize it was happening,
No, it's crazy. Like, you have no idea how proliferated cryptography actually is at scale
Right.
in the world.
Right.
Like every time you go on a website, you're using cryptography. Every time you send a WhatsApp message, you're using cryptography.
Right.
Every time you are pretty much anything virtual, you are probably using cryptography.
Right.
It's just abstracted so that you don't have to deal with any of the complexity.
Right.
Every time you log in with a username password, that's a lot of cryptography there.
Yeah. Huh. That's crazy.
And yeah, it's a whole thing.
Huh. So do you work in cryptocurrencies?
Now I do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That wasn't your goal necessarily at the beginning?
No, not at all. So I actually really liked the first job I ever had. So I studied in Baltimore. I did my master thesis there. And I can even just kind of like talk a bit about the master thesis because it will set the context for
Sure.
for
Where
this.
was that in Baltimore? What university?
It was University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. So there I did the work that is called private contact discovery. That's the problem. So imagine this. Say, and this is like the easiest way to understand this. Imagine we want to be friends on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be like, oh, here's my username. Here's my username. Just type it, add me.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that works, when I click follow, I'm literally telling Instagram, hey, I'm Mario. I'm following Badir.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram knows every single connection at scale in the world.
Wow.
So like Instagram knows because they need to be able to connect both profiles, right? And with cryptography, funny enough, you can actually do some fancy tricks to have it in a way where the server doesn't know who is following each other.
Okay.
But still have people actually connected to each other, which is like, again, kind of like spooky math magic type of thing.
But that's a layer of security, I guess.
Yeah. And this is where like the whole espionage and things start to get very relevant. So imagine we want to communicate on WhatsApp. Mm-hmm. And I'm somewhere in a very hostile region of the world. Mm-hmm. And I add your phone number there. WhatsApp is going to be like, boom. These two numbers are about to talk. Right. And that's enough to disclose a lot of information.
Sure.
Right. So if imagine this scenario, and it's very relevant even these days. Mm-hmm. Say WhatsApp knows the phone number of the president of the US. Mm-hmm. Reasonable because they own the service. Mm-hmm. Reasonable. And they know the phone number of, I don't know, the president of England. Mm-hmm. And they see that all of a sudden this week they started talking. They don't know what's there because the communications are end-to-end encrypted.
Right.
They cannot decrypt that.
Right.
So they don't know what they're saying.
Right.
But all of a sudden, since last night, they started talking like every 10 minutes.
Right.
And they call each other and everything.
Right.
So they know exactly the interactions that are taking place.
Right.
They don't know what's being said.
Right.
But the fact that they're talking
says a
so
lot.
much, so frequently says a lot.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, imagine they're also, both parties are also talking with the president of Ukraine. Every like 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Right? So this notion of the social graph leaks so much information, and it's super funny and kind of like interesting and scary how people, funny enough, want the opposite. They want to be connected to everyone. So like if you look at social media today, is follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on this app. And you are actually telling the services exactly your social circle. But the military guys, they want to be like, no, we cannot. We need to be able to find like our headquarters without revealing to the services or without revealing like this type of information.
Right.
And so that was my work. It was a private contact discovery. It was just a way to do this, like privately add someone on a chat app without the chat service knowing who is talking with who.
Right.
Obviously, it always has trade-offs. So every single thing, and you see this in cryptocurrency, every single decision that is made comes with trade-offs, right? So some people are going to be like, oh, Bitcoin is bad because of ABC. They just want a different set of trade-offs, right? And maybe it's better for them, the other set of trade-offs, or maybe they're just making stuff up and they want like their bags or whatever.
Sure.
Usually there's vested interests in a lot of those like wars, especially in the crypto space. Crypto as in cryptocurrency.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of like how I started. And my job at the time was it was mostly like military application and corporate espionage stuff.
Wow.
So imagine all of a sudden Coca-Cola wants to do a merger and acquisition with, I don't know, like a massive company. And imagine they do the negotiations over Slack. Now Slack knows every single term sheet that has been circulated.
Sure.
And maybe the system admin at Slack can just use that information for like insider trading or stuff like that. And you have a lot of different examples, right? So
it's crazy.
like Air France at some point, it's something like this, all right? I'm pretty sure it's Air France literally made it unacceptable for the staff to use BlackBerries.
Okay.
Because every single BlackBerry communication was routed via servers in North America.
Okay.
So then that information was being given to other people, which was allowing other airlines to take advantage of some of the Air France plans.
Right.
And just because that's the phone they were using to type. So all of a sudden, everyone in the staff at Air France, they had to use like iPhone and iPad. Because those conversations were like routed differently and treated differently. Still very controversial. A lot of people will tell you like, yeah, but Apple still owns the encryption key.
Right.
Again, it's always a set of trade-offs.
Right.
Always.
Would you prefer Apple? Or?
And kind of like Apple is a very valuable company, so they wouldn't
risk their reputation.
Probably risk their reputation. Just like the ROI is not there, right? The return on that action is not really there for a company that's with so much money and so much on the line. And so yeah, and that's also like a cryptographic issue if you think about it, kind of like who gets to see the communications, who is in charge of things. So it's very proliferated.
Yeah, I mean, when you say that, it makes me think about how universal cryptography is. And just how, people at the top of companies and organizations and militaries have to be like they got to have a whole
extra
branch for
careful.
that.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
And there was a big scandal back when I was living in the US. So I lived in California a couple years ago. So before I moved to Cayman, so this week is actually my 6-year anniversary on island. No
way.
On June 24th.
So I must have run into you at some point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And
6 years. I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah. So before I moved here, I was in California.
Okay. Where?
In a city called Claremont. So it's part of like LA County, but it's still fairly far from LA. LA is massive, right? So like you have kind of like LA niche core, and then you have like Pasadena, and then after you would have Claremont, so more on the suburbs side. I loved it there because I was away from the traffic. I used to walk to my office, and then if I wanted to do something in LA, I would literally just Uber to LA. It was much more practical for me, given where the offices were. And back then, there was like this big scandal where some officials from a very well-known intel agency in the US got kidnapped and even shot because they got lazy. So there was this website that one of the intel, like the 3-letter agencies used, and they would use it to like get information about whatever, like a new mission or something. And they had like this bulletin board functionality there, and they started using that to communicate with the people back home. And then all of a sudden, again, keep in mind, a lot of countries in the world actually monitor everything that takes place at the internet level. So they started seeing, why is someone in this specific hotel accessing like this specific URL every 3 hours? like CIA.gov. And then they literally went to the hotel, and it was like, who checked in last week?
Wow.
And they were like, oh, we have this guy on room 203.
Right.
I was like, boom, that's a CIA agent.
Wow.
Because they got lazy and started using that website to communicate and send the information back home.
Wow.
And even at that level of high stakes, these mistakes happen, and it cost them their lives. Like, it's heavy. It was heavy stuff. It was a
So
big...
how did the person die?
Oh, because then it was like literally the counterparty intel agency in the Middle East actually went and...
Is that right? Killed the guy?
Yeah.
In Claremont, in California?
No. So those guys in the Middle East, those intel agents that were communicating and using that website. So we were trying to solve that issue and making it better for even the military to be able to have kind of like this good way to send someone overseas and communicate securely back home. And obviously you can package this and it can be used by us, it can be used by military, it can be used by multiple parties. It's not in everyone's interest. Then when they start learning this, they're kind of like, oh, I want this just for me, not for anyone else. But it was, honestly, that job, it was very like 007 type of vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this guy on 007. His name is Q, like the techie nerd that helps the agents. That's how I felt when I was in Cali. And it was, so like private messaging is a whole thing. Like encrypted group chats. It's very hard. The math is very, very tricky to have it done properly.
Yeah.
It's something that people don't even know what cryptography is most of the time.
It's true. I mean...
And then when these are kind of like problems that exist in the space that become... Yeah, they're like big open problems.
Right.
And that's... If you look at why Telegram took over the crypto communities versus a lot of other apps, is because Telegram went, we're not really going to care too much about the cryptography. If you want, you can have like secret chats and stuff like that. But every single group chat is not encrypted. So you can add as many people as you want. WhatsApp and Signal, on the other hand, they took the approach where it was like, no, groups have to be small because of the way the math works. Like the groups are all encrypted. So then, funny enough, Telegram had this like very secure messaging app branding, but there was no actual math for group chats. Like group chats are not encrypted. And the crypto guys, crypto as in cryptocurrency, they wanted big volumes. They wanted people like 10,000 users, 50,000 people in the communities, because they wanted everyone in the community to be on like the Telegram chat, group, right?
Yeah.
And it's very counterintuitive, because then there was like these issues with Telegram and everyone was like crying wolf. And I was like, guys, that's literally how it works. Like it's again, it's always trade-off, right? So do you want a lot of users on your group chat, or do you want like a proper encrypted group chat type of thing?
Yeah, when I hear all this, I feel like there's like two things happening at the same time. I feel like there's like the general human connectivity, everything's being connected together. And then the other thing is, but everybody still wants their privacy. And it's like those two things. It's like we want to connect, but we want the privacy as well. And I feel like crypto is like trying to make that happen somehow.
Exactly, But it's very hard, because then people, usually the more private or secure something is, the harder it is to use. So it's usually how it goes.
Yeah. Again, the trade-offs, right?
Yeah. And it's such a pain, because then users are a pain. Like if you ever have to do, anyone who has
users are a pain.
They are though. If anyone that has ever been involved in user testing knows how insane that is. Like you create a flow of an app, you code it, it looks pretty, and you go like, oh, this is very easy. It's very easy.
And then the user
easy
comes
to use. And then the user is going to be like, I lost my password in this flow, or like I put instead of my username, I typed my password, and now I can't access it. And you go like, how? It's insane. So it's very hard knowing that every single thing comes with a trade-off. It's very hard to then consciously give you a lot of security because you know you will mess up. And you see this very clearly with the 12 words, right? So like the 12 words for the crypto wallets. If you want to have a crypto wallet, usually you have to keep those 12 words and then you can access your funds, but they are your funds. No one can steal them. That's the trade-off. It's your money, unseizable. The trade-off is
you can lose it.
You have 12 words, choose wisely. And then you always have those stories, right? Where they go, oof, I lost my wallet. I had the words there.
Yeah.
I lost my phone and the words were there on a screenshot.
Yeah.
And then what do you do in that case, right? So like it becomes philosophical very quickly too, because then you go, like there's a whole thing now with a tokenization of real world assets. So imagine you have a house, houses are tokenized and you own a house now. And it's you control your crypto wallet owns a house. What if you lose that wallet though? Do you no longer own the house? Like, is the house now stuck in the market forever? Like no one can sell it. Right. And then you go, no, okay, let's make it such that the government has a fallback key. Yeah, but if they have the fallback key, right, what are you actually solving? Now they can sell the house without you. Is that like, what's the... And you go like, yeah, but maybe we have like 2 keys and you need 2. It's like, yeah, but then we're back to the same problem. Then if you lose yours, they cannot do anything. Oh, but maybe you just need one of the 2. Yeah, but now you're back to the other problem, which is the government can do things without you. So it's always a trade-off situation. And it's very, very hard to actually find the best balance. And we do need to find it at some point because the usability of crypto is insanely bad. But the flip side of that is I think people are trying to learn where exactly can you draw that trade-off in a way that retail and the average person can use it, but still get some of those benefits from the sovereignty of the assets, right?
And I think that's what universal adoption is waiting for, right? Just something that makes it a little more accessible and a little less risky.
Because I think, like, from my background, my dad is fairly tech savvy. Like he works mostly with sales, more on the business executive side. And my mom, she sells cosmetics. Like my mom is zero tech savvy. Like my mom is literally the type of person who would like, it would be those users filing those like tickets being like, oh, I lost. So it's actually pretty funny. Like I'll give you an example. And so my mom the other day, she was trying to log in onto her Instagram account, and somehow she created 3 accounts. All right. So then she called me.
It's pretty difficult to do.
So she calls me and she goes, I don't know what happened, but now I have an account without any followers. I lost all my followers. And I'm like, what? How did you lose your followers? So at this point, I'm like, did she get hacked? Did something weird happen? And I was like, send me a screenshot. Let me see. And it was like another handle. She showed me a screenshot. And it was another handle. I was like, but that's not your handle. Your handle, if you follow me on Instagram, this is your handle. And she goes, oh, that's the one. I was like, oh my God, did she create like... She was like, oh, because this is like the 3rd time this appears. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example, right? Of somebody who you want to be able to hold.
Yeah, exactly. But you want them to have the exposure to the asset, right?
Right.
And we need to get to a point where for both cases, my mom and my dad, crypto should be usable. Yeah. Whether they want exposure to the asset as an investment, kind of like long-term or whatever, it doesn't really matter because the asset should be accessible by anyone. That's the ethos that comes with it. And right now it's a mess. Like Coinbase can freeze your account. The Coinbase in Europe is very strict. They even ask you who you're sending crypto to. And there's no way my mom can keep like 12 words.
Yeah.
And unless it just goes onto the vault and then she never really touches that crypto.
Right.
And yeah, but even that is tricky because she forgot the combination for the safe one time. So we actually had to call like a locksmith to
come and break the
drill the safe and do the whole thing. So you see how convoluted it gets.
Right. Yeah, it is a learning curve. You know, when I first got the 12 words too, like I almost lost mine, and it sounds simple.
Oh, it's terrible.
But it's just like some sort of paradigm shift in your thinking that you've never sort of had to actually self-custody your money before.
No, and I'm like the worst. So I don't trust any single app. So I literally, every other app, I create new 12 words. So I have like a stack.
Oh, wow. Don't get me thinking about that.
I have like stacks of 12 words.
So how do you come to Cayman? What was that? 6 years ago? Was that the first time you came?
Yeah.
Yeah? You just came sight unseen?
So, no. So I was in Cali. My visa expired at the time.
Okay. US visa?
Yeah. So I was living in the US. My US visa expires. And at the time, my boss was opening an office here. And it was either lose your job and go back to Portugal because your visa has expired, or help us set up a new office in Cayman. And I did come here. That would have been like May 6 years ago.
So just before the pandemic, kind of.
Yeah. So May, we were here for a couple of days, looking at housing, looking at the vibe of the island, everything. I loved it. I loved it. And then June 24th, and I know the day exactly because it's a very big party in my hometown in Porto.
Okay.
And
that's where you're from, Porto?
Yeah. From the north of Portugal. And they have the Saint John or São João. It's big like
festival
summer. It's like a popular party for like the saints, it's like a little hometown celebration for like this like saint of the town. And people go crazy of like the whole like sardines. People have like these little plastic hammers and they hammer you on the head. It's like everyone comes out, big fireworks. It's crazy. So I remember clearly because of that day. And so we were here in May 2019 just to check out the island, spent a couple of days here and there. Then in June, I moved to Cayman.
Okay.
Yeah, and been here since. So I had like a bit more than 6 months pre-COVID, and then pandemic.
And so you were here for the pandemic?
Yeah, the whole time.
So do you still work for the same company?
No. So now I have my own company here. And the way it works is I have my own company here that is to make sure that I can actually stay on island, because the company where I was working before, that ended up closing. And you need to be legally here, right? So
so you had to make something happen.
Yeah, so there were a couple of like options at the time, and cryptography is a very like small niche. So it's not like there's a lot of people here on island hiring cryptographers.
Yeah.
Maybe more so now, but not it wasn't at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like set up the company first, and then we'll figure it out. Like, let's go one step at a time.
Right.
And it worked pretty well. It worked pretty well. So it was like the three guys, we were working in the company before. We lost our jobs at the same time. We wanted to stay on island, so we were kind of like, let's just split it by the three of us. And we set up our own company here.
Cool.
And
and
what's
that? What's that company? What do you guys do?
So that company is called Bit Fashioned because our favorite drink is the old fashioned, and which says a lot. It says a lot about our vibe,
right?
And in a good way, I like to think. And what we realize is that the three of us, we have very like complementary skills. So like I do the math side of things. And then the other two guys are exceptional developers. So one mostly on the back-end side and the other one mostly on the full stack side. And both have exposure to contracts. So then we quickly realized that we can pretty much do the entire stack for anyone. So like pretty much no matter who you are, we can probably do what you need us to do.
Right.
And so if you're a very technical project that needs a lot of math, we got you. And if you're a more chill project that needs an MVP of an NFT marketplace, that's also fine. We got you as well.
So most of your clients aren't here in Cayman?
No, not really. No, not really.
You're a CEC company?
Yeah. We're in the special economic zone with Cayman Enterprise City.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's where you guys are based out of? The is it Signal House?
So, yeah, I mean, our office is technically at Strathville, which is across the street from Rackham's here in town. It's not too far from here at all. But I work from home mostly. I love to stay at home, chill with my dogs, and yeah, I have my whole home office set up. I'll say one thing though, because I think I've mastered working from home. Is I actually get ready to go to work in the morning.
No way.
Which is pretty funny.
Interesting. I like that.
So
I get it.
The average person that works from home, they go basically straight from their pajamas to the calls and maybe like on their pajamas, like camera off, or just change the top of the attire and then camera on. I actually go to work. I literally take the shower, dress up, put cologne, even though I'm not leaving the house. Even though I'm not leaving the house.
Right. I get it.
It's just, I think it's so important to separate. Like, because think about it, what is the difference between, there has to be a difference between a day where you work from home and a day off. Right. And I don't think they should start the same way.
Right.
And
that's so funny that you do that, because I'm the person who says the opposite of you. I'm the person that says I can't work at home. Okay. And it's because of the separation.
Yeah, so it's very hard. But what happened was COVID was a big learning experience because all of a sudden everyone was stuck at home. And I really like my job to the extent where I think about my job almost like 24/7. It's maybe not as healthy. But I do limit the
number. It's like running a company, though. Yeah, I think, you know.
Yeah, but I do limit the hours I work because I'm literally the type of guy that could work 14-hour days on a lot of different things. And sometimes it's just reading papers or playing around with AI. It doesn't even have to be like a work-related task. Although kind of like my job is so wide in that extent because like I'm always on Twitter or X looking at what's new in the space. And I'm always reading like the new papers, looking at the new protocols. So there's almost always you have like a little excuse to, oh, this is work. But during COVID, what I realized with that was that often, since I had no separation whatsoever, I would literally be in the living room. My desk would be like super close to the couch. I would be on Netflix. And the couch was there. I was chill, but the desk was almost like the Lord of the Rings, like the ring calling me. It was like almost like, come back, do something. And it was, and I felt like the pressure of, oh my God, I didn't finish that task today. Yeah. And the desk is right there. Yeah. And it was literally like super close. And I'd be like, oh, I can finish it now. And I would go like 9 p.m. instead of being like, on Netflix watching and just chilling. Boom. Now I was working. Right. And it was, at some point, I felt so dysfunctional because I was like, it was literally like, I like to use the Lord of the Rings example because it was like the ring was saying like, oh, come here. And I was like, I need to kind of like separate these actions because I cannot be, it's not healthy. Like this is quarantine. We're all stuck at home. We barely leave the house, right? Because if you remember, you could go to the supermarket based on your last name. Yeah. Which was a whole mission for me, by the way, because I have 4 last names. so depending on the mood of the security guard and the police officer, they would let me go.
That's funny.
They would let me go through.
Like, really, bro?
No, sometimes they would, no, because they'd be like, and it was so, because like, and then my first last name starts with a Y, and then the last one starts with a C, but still I have 4. So imagine I would go on like a Monday, and they'd be like, bro, today's not your day. And I was like, no, because I used the last name. And they're like, don't fuck with me. But then I don't want to get like a fine because I'm like super like abide by the rules, everything. And then it was literally the police there checking, remember? And I was like, yo, I don't want issue. I don't want trouble here. I just today's my day.
Right. Oh man.
And so I had to find a way to separate those things. And
that's how you find you do it. You kind of dress up, you go through the motions.
So now I literally have that. And it works so well because you wake up, you're fresh, and you don't have to deal with a commute anyway. And you start the day, you actually separate kind of like what a Saturday would look like versus a Monday.
Right.
And I find that it's troubling if you're always starting that, like, right? If you think about it, like imagine your Monday morning, if you're working from home, starts the exact same way as your Saturday. That is supposed to be your rest day. Right? And I don't even do, like some people do laundry mid-work and stuff. Like, no, I don't do any of that unless I have like a lunch break, or if I'm like fried and I need to take like some like a break. Right. Because the problem with doing math is that sometimes you're like just stuck, you get fried much faster.
Right.
So then I like to take like solid breaks. And that's where like the dogs actually save me a lot. Right. Because then the dogs are like very expressive. They're like, you need to go for a walk. And I was like, perfect, let's go.
Yeah, cool.
And I walk the dogs like 3 times a day.
Yeah. They live inside with you?
Yeah.
How many do you got?
2.
Yeah.
Oh, they're spoiled. Like literally chill on the couch with me. And then one more than the other. So like one is if I'm doing like late hours, if for some reason I have like a paper deadline or something, and I'm pulling like close to an all-nighter or something, the dog is there next to me on by the working desk. But yeah, I find that separation very important. People always laugh like, no way you get ready. I was like, yeah, and you'd be surprised at how well it actually works. Because you don't have to deal with the commute anyway. The thing that drives me insane is also traffic.
Yeah, me too.
Traffic ruins me.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I get to work and I'm already like, oof.
Yeah.
Like in a bad mood. Just because you're stuck there for 45 minutes. It's such a waste of time.
Bro, I'm the same. I don't know if it's a personality thing, but I mean, there's never... The times that I've questioned my life the most is when I'm sitting in traffic. Like that's like I'll just go through like deep, like an existential crisis of just,
100%.
I just
100%.
Like, I can't. Like, what is the psychology behind that? You just don't want to wait.
And then there's a lot of people have like bad days, and it ends up being like reflected in the traffic actions. So people are trying to cut you through, or they're not letting you through, or it's such like a chaotic environment. I was like, oof, no, just chill at home.
I always think about that. I remember when I was in college, one of my friends was saying he had this theory that the bigger the vehicle, the more the road rage.
Really?
Or something like that. And he's like, if you think about it, if you're walking somewhere and you hit someone by mistake, they're not really gonna give you, but if you get close to them with a car, then it becomes a little more like,
it's a whole confrontational situation.
Right. Yeah, it's quite the phenomenon. But I live in West Bay. I love it. There is no traffic.
Yeah, because you drive up.
It's great.
That's nice.
It is. It is just the way to live.
I live by Hurley's.
Oh no, that's not even that bad, but that's bad.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath. Or if you want to meet with me, it has to be after 9 a.m.
Right. After 10, man. Come on. That's and that roundabout there is pretty rough too.
Yeah.
I hear they're trying to change that or something.
There's a couple of construction going on there right now.
It's
pretty funny. We'll see.
So, and by the way, whenever you need to go, let me know. But let's talk cryptocurrencies a little bit. What's on your mind nowadays in that scene?
Oh, loaded question. So first, I find that real world assets are a bit of a deceitful situation going on right now, because the whole RWA in 2025, and it's probably one of the biggest narratives of
What's that?
like the real world assets.
Oh, okay, right. How to tokenize? Is that the whole tokenization? Of
Which
the
is
assets?
basically just like the whole tokenization that was promised back in 2018, right? If you remember, and I think that's also part of the problem is that not many people have been around long enough to remember. Back in 2018, every project was like, we're going to tokenize everything. It was from real estate to the electricity grids to cars to fractional ownership of art. Everything you could think of back in 2018, that was a project. Big fiasco because the world wasn't even ready. First, no one even really took crypto very seriously. And no one was really ready. It was also like no one even wanted it. It was like, yeah, okay, you're tokenizing like an electricity grid, but why do you need a token for your project? Like, why? What is the add-on? Like the value? Like you just want like to make money and then bail, rug pull everyone.
Right.
So what I'm seeing now with crypto is there's much stronger and powerful narratives that have been like recycled, but you still have to be careful because there's still people trying to make that easy money and just going with stuff that doesn't make sense to the market. And so there's a lot of RWA, real world asset projects that are not really doing things.
So you don't really buy into this
properly yet. No, I do, because I do work with RWAs, and I've been working with big banks that are trying to tokenize assets. So funny enough, I was actually involved in a pilot with JP Morgan. Now, before they launched this whole thing on Base, which they launched this past week.
What was that?
They launched like an institutional token for like other financial institutions to be able to buy, etc.
Interesting.
Right before that, I was working with them on a pilot for exploring like tokenization of a specific asset type that they have in their funds. And when you look at what they need, and this is something I always like to use this example, is like how big is the crypto space right now, like in size? Like Bitcoin is at 100,000, so what does that play? Like it's probably less than $4 trillion right now. Can you look it up? Like if you go on like CoinMarketCap, and just to have like a proper
percentage, like less than 1%, right?
Yeah. So I just want to look at the actual number, because usually I think it's on CoinMarketCap. It will show you the.
There it is.
If you go up, sorry, here. Okay, market cap of crypto right now is $3.16 trillion. All right. So that's every single crypto together in the world combined adds up to that amount.
Right.
All right. Every day, central banks in the world settle over 6 trillion.
Right.
So every day, central banks of the world settle with each other
twice as much.
Basically, twice as much as the entire crypto. So if you think about it, crypto is a ping pong ball. Right? That's crypto. Literally every day, it bounces twice just for central bank settlements.
Right.
So imagine over a year, multiply that times over 300, right? So people need to actually just get the sanity check that what we call TradFi is massive, because this is just for settlements. I'm not talking stocks, commodities, funds. That's a whole other beast. That's so whole world as well.
I think it adds up to like 200 trillion, I hear people say.
Yeah, so like they have like weird numbers, but that doesn't even really matter. It's just the dimension, right? So I'm a bit tired of seeing projects trying to do RWA without talking to the big TradFi players, right? And if you talk to the big TradFi players, they will tell you, you know what would be great and a game changer? It would be if we could have this type of atomic swap And ideally, maybe we want the buyer here to be private. And that now becomes a fun cryptography problem, because now you need like an atomic swap, you need maybe to have some layer of privacy here. So it becomes a whole thing. Now, projects that literally grab an asset, tokenize it, and put it on chain, I find it a bit useless, because that's just, it's like almost like a weekend project for a cryptocurrency class in university, right? So it really bothers me when you look at a project that does that and then they're worth like $50 billion.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, bro, you probably have like an uncle that works at a big institution and they're doing a pilot with you, and you're able to convince people that you're going to be the next big thing for RWA. So that frustrates me a lot, because talking with the big players, there's actually a lot of problems that have to be solved. And those TradFi guys, they describe it. So if you look at the whole JP Morgan use case for Project Kinexis, I think, because they're always changing names. I should also know this because I worked with them recently. But
so, and what's this supposed to do?
And it was for tokenized funds. So like you had a fund, you wanted to tokenize the fund, and then you wanted to do like some fun like auctions and swaps. And there, if you read those reports, they actually describe the size of the market, what some of the problems are, some of the unsolved problems are. What are they trying to solve with this pilot? What is the main focus for the pilot right now? And then you look at that and look at what some of these RWA guys are doing, and there's nothing that overlaps.
Right.
Nothing. So now that raises the question, are these RWA guys even doing anything worth it?
Right.
If JP Morgan, the biggest bank in the world, doesn't even need their product, because that product is not solving anything. Why would we retail? Keep in mind that TradFi also works for a reason. It's not great. We've all experienced that 5-day delay when you're making a wire. So they acknowledge it, that it's not perfect. And the one good thing now is that I feel like TradFi and crypto are working much closely now.
Than previously.
Yeah, before it was like a war. It was like, get out of here, you get out of here. We're gonna throw you out. We're gonna take you down. It was like it was like a Looney Tunes cartoon, right? There was like always fighting. Now you see the TradFi guys going, you know what? There's a couple of nice things that we can do on chain. And they're actually asking for help. And it doesn't help when there are projects who are just trying to grab money and scamming retail.
Right.
And that's very frustrating. And yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, that's what you hear all the time. Like a lot of it is trash. A lot of it is just a waste of time. And, normies don't know the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And then you have the opposite viewpoint, which is screw TradFi.
Yeah.
We're disappointed that Bitcoin is now part of TradFi.
Yeah.
Like that should never have happened. This was against the principles, so you have those two conflicting things. I personally tend to sit kind of where you are. Yeah. I don't think it can exist without integrating into TradFi.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that's where I think you're coming from.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the thing that drives me a bit insane is that crypto ends up being so tribal. It's very tribal. But people don't acknowledge shortcomings of their tribe. So people go like, oh, Bitcoin is perfect, nothing should be changed. And you go, okay, then are we going to use Bitcoin for payments? And they go, yeah, absolutely. I was like, okay, what about the privacy? Is everyone going to know how much money you have? They're like, oh no, but we do like, you can change your wallet every like X days or something. Right, and it's like, bro, those models have been proven to be broken. Like there's literally like advanced math that can be done to just, it's not even that advanced. Like it's just, if you hear some of these guys talk, they go like, oh, advanced models. And you look at the math is not even that hard. It's not like rocket science. So even if they try to obfuscate it more, like the real math guys can de-obfuscated. Like they can break the privacy. So it just needs to reach a point where there has to be more collaboration rather than, oh, we are perfect. Every time someone says they're perfect, it's a big red flag, right? So why is that not the case for like a crypto project?
Right.
Like, again, it's always a matter of trade-offs. Where does a trade-off work for you? And so like for crypto, that's where I stand right now. I do think we can completely change the way settlements and finance works. Absolutely. I also think that it's not going to be with like hundreds of projects, each with a token where like a team has a big allocation. I think it's based on the actual tech, like the underlying tech. The tech is very impressive. The tech works. Banks are finally acknowledging that that's a massive win, massive win, that we should take it. And I don't think we take that win enough. Like the fact that there's like so many pilots right now being explored by banks, that's massive. Like stuff works. They're basically seeing that it works for them. And it solves a lot of their issues, and it makes a lot of people's lives easier, right? And the whole, for me, just the wires alone is a big example.
Yeah,
it's a big example.
It's like a horse and cart scenario.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah,
and like over Easter, you had a situation. I was actually in Japan on Easter weekend, and I had to make a wire, and it was wild because it was like Good Friday, right? So then, how insane is this? That in 2025, if you were to make a wire after the cutoff time on Thursday, the person would only receive it on the following Tuesday, if you were lucky.
If you got everything right.
Yeah. And if if you were lucky, you sent the wire Thursday afternoon, maybe a bit late or evening, they would only receive it on Tuesday.
Yeah. 5 days later.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. When you can send a message that goes, hey, and it arrives
boom
on the 2nd.
Yeah.
It's insane. And they're going to go with convoluted justification and say that it has to go through the ACH check and like the whole like, bro, there's no excuse.
There is no excuse anymore for that.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Tell your traders that their trades now take 5 days to execute and see how they react. Right? Especially for those like high frequency traders that even half a second counts.
Right.
And we're here playing around with this whole wires thing. And like if it's cross countries, oof, good luck.
And don't get a letter wrong.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, everyone's experienced that, you know, the frustration in the bank with wires. It's just, and then it's like, you know, oh, the wire never came. Okay.
Yeah. And then you have to call them.
You have to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're not going to go talk to the bank. Like, you got to be like, okay,
like,
and then there's a middle bank.
You have the confirmation number. I was like, yeah, maybe it's stuck on like the
third bank.
Oh my God, it's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so crazy. And that's why stable coins and even like Bitcoin works pretty well for that.
Yeah.
Like it happens fast.
Yeah.
Even with its drawbacks, it's still like fast enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy world. Like my dad wrote me a check the other day from a US bank. 1 month, baby. Gonna take 1 month to clear.
No way.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And it's, you know, it's just frustrating when you know you're in 2025 and you know there are solutions and you know there's cryptocurrencies, and it's just like, and people don't get it. People still don't get cryptocurrencies. Like, what? I don't quite get what's the point. And you know, I guess I didn't really know what the problem was. That's why I didn't know there was a solution.
Yeah.
I used to think that you could wire money digitally.
Yeah.
But you're not actually wiring that money digitally, right? You're just sending an instruction, which banks then sort of have to balance against each other to finally execute the instruction. So you think when you're on Butterfield or CNB and you send a wire, boom, okay, it's sending the money, but it's not actually sending the money, right?
Oh, it's a whole thing.
But cryptocurrency, on the other hand, that is the solution. That is, you're actually sending the money.
Yeah.
You know, and there's that people. I don't think people really see that difference. You know, I think people think that they are actually sending money when they do a wire.
And the fact that the money is yours as well, right? Because it happens a lot. You go to a bank and you go like, oh, I want to withdraw like $7,000. And they go like, Why? And you're like...
You're suspect.
I was like, first, I shouldn't even have to answer that question. Second, I want to buy a car. It's like, oh, sorry, you shouldn't buy it in cash.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but what about just giving me my money?
Yeah. Huh.
It's a whole thing.
It's exciting, man. It is.
But it's exciting. The space is going. Space is evolving. It's obviously kind of like now that Bitcoin is very like used institutionally via ETFs and via other offerings. It comes with it's like drawbacks and like it's trade-offs as well, right? Like choose wisely. Do you want retail to have access to it via like a traditional offering? But now those institutional players actually own a bigger part of it.
Right.
Or should it just be kind of like an asset for the people, by the people type of thing? Yeah, you'll see a lot of different opinions there.
Definitely do.
But it's interesting to see where things are going to go.
Yeah. So in 10 years, what's the space look like?
Oh, I think it's going to be... A lot of it was going to be Web3 powered, but you won't even know or need to know, type of thing. So, yeah, that's how I see it. I think it's going to be, and I look at the apps now, and the apps are getting much better. It's still going to take a while, and I get into a lot of fights about this all the time. I was like, crypto needs to stop being products built by developers for developers. Right now there's a lot. There's even like a joke that goes, there's probably more developers than users, right? type of thing. Like that nonsense needs to stop, right? And it's okay for the developers to actually acknowledge that they're very bad at building products for users. That's fine. And anyone who does development kind of like deep down, they know this. Like they go like, oh, it's on GitHub. And then you open like a GitHub page and there's like lines and lines of instructions for you to build a tool. And it's like, listen, this tool should just be a URL for me to use. I shouldn't have to deploy it locally and get it like this key and configure these files. Like no, but it's made for you to, it should not. Or at least have both settings.
All right.
And that has to stop. And the sooner we realize that, the better. It just comes at putting your ego aside.
Yeah.
And not saying like, oh, it's a skill issue, which is something people like to say a lot.
Right.
And it's like, yes, it's a skill issue, and it shouldn't have to be a skill issue for me to run something Web3 related.
Right. You brought something to mind. What's your opinion about the Mag 7, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Netflix, and their sort of approach or non-approach to crypto?
Yeah.
Are they? I feel like they're slow. I feel like they're just not. I don't even know if they're going to get it. Like, yeah, you know, I feel like it would be so easy for them to. Well, it's so easy. It would be so beneficial.
They say that Uber, the Uber CEO said he's gonna integrate stable coins into his kind of like payment suite to save money.
Okay.
But as far as I know, the FANGs or like whatever acronym you want to use, they're not very open to it within their main offerings. Within their main offerings, though. But if you look at, so FANG being Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, like Amazon has AWS, so like the Amazon Web Services, like the cloud offering, they already have like prepackaged crypto binaries and crypto services there that you can deploy yourself. Because they know there's money to be made on that front. So at least on that side of things, you're already seeing, and same even more for Google. Google literally has like a Web3 startup package where you can get credits just by being a Web3 company. So you get credits for free. Then the other guys, I think it's a matter of time. When it makes sense, it will probably make sense within. They're not forcing it though, which I don't dislike.
Right.
I prefer that, for it to be natural, than for them to just try to force some type of crypto offering, and it doesn't make sense.
I feel like they kind of forced AI a little bit, some of them.
Yeah, but they kind of hid it under. It did make sense, but the execution was terrible.
Yeah.
Right. So Apple Intelligence is really bad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT all the time,
Yeah.
but I don't really use Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I just feel like it was kind of forced.
But it did make sense, so they were making Siri better, but the execution was terrible.
Right, right.
Crypto right now probably doesn't really make sense for those offerings for retail. Like, what is the average Instagram user going to do with crypto on Instagram? Probably nothing, right? But maybe they're going to start rewarding creators like with ad revenue and
or like Zaps.
yeah, some type of weird thing. They will have to come up with it.
I mean, I think that would be nice, a whole Zap scheme. Do you use Nostr?
No.
What's your opinion about?
No, I don't really have
real
an
opinion. Do you think that there is a place for decentralized social media?
Not right now. No, I don't even think people really want it. Like, damage is done. Like, after what happened to Facebook and all of the, like, people know. In Portugal, there's a saying like, you know what the household spends, kind of like you know what's to expect.
Okay.
And so after the whole Facebook scandal with the Cambridge Analytica,
what was that?
That they were selling like information about like their users. People know of this, yet they still use every single product. They don't really care too much. Yeah. So like,
I think ChatGPT is a perfect example too.
Yeah. So there's much info. There's not really at that point. Who is the Web3 social going to be for? If everyone after that big scandal, no one ran away from those apps.
Right.
Maybe some people stopped using Facebook, did what went to Instagram, went to.
But those are the developers, right? Those are the guys that,
those
know
are
and care.
Yeah, exactly.
The minority.
Those are like the minority.
Yeah.
So it's a sad thing to say, but honestly, the whole Web3 social thing right now is still very rough. Very, very rough. Even first, there's not wide adoption of wallets. So like you're either not really going to be Web3 aligned because there's no, like my family, no one in my family has wallet.
Yeah.
Even my brother's 19. I asked him like, oh, do you have a MetaMask? He's like, no, I only have a Phantom. He's doing some crazy stuff on Solana. And I was like, yeah, if even my brother doesn't really have MetaMask.
That's a sign, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like my sister is in her 20s. She doesn't even have a crypto wallet or anything. Yeah, but she's like on TikTok every day.
Right. So
like, how would you onboard her onto a Web3 social app? Like, forget that.
But I feel like after this conversation, I feel like things are not moving as fast as I would like.
Yeah.
But I think, you got to be realistic too, right? I think.
But I do think though that there are bad things that will happen for good reasons. So like AI is booming right now, as you know, and I think a lot of people even today kind of like have accepted that ChatGPT is a big part of their pipelines.
And people don't have wallets, but they have ChatGPT.
Exactly, yeah. So now you have a lot of AI-generated content, AI-generated interactions, AI visits to your website. So the whole need to prove that you're human, all of that, like cryptography and all of that kind of like side of the coin, it will fit in very well with crypto. Like you have your own identity that you can then use to prove to access some resources or to access whatever. And in Portugal, for example, you have like these vending machines for cigarettes, but they only work if you put your ID. And the ID proves that you're over 18. It doesn't need to know who you are.
Right.
It just proves that you're over 18.
Right.
And then the vending machine kind of like works. Right? That's a good example.
Yeah.
That in crypto would be like revolutionary crypto project that with ZK. So like they most likely would have like 5 projects that will just bullshit their buzzwords into this whole market.
Right.
Versus actually getting it done with proper cryptography.
Right.
And so you will see a couple of those verticals are going to become very interesting. So real world assets will be done properly. You're going to be able to own gold, to own stocks via your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
The usability of wallets still remains to be kind of like solved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And identity is going to be like a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's via your passport or via reputation or via scanning your eye, I don't really know. But each have their own advantages and disadvantages.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating, bro. I think we'll end it there.
Yeah.
What are you up to the rest of the weekend?
Just chill.
Yeah.
Not much.
Are you a beach guy or?
Not so
much?
I mean, enough.
Yeah.
But not like an aficionado.
Right,
Like if I go once a week, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I think once every 2 weeks is a good balance for me.
Yeah, it's hot out there.
But
man.
I do like being outside.
Yeah.
So like going to like a beach bar or sitting outside at a restaurant and looking at the ocean. That I love. That I could do every day.
Right.
But yeah.
Cool, man. Any sort of events coming up in the space or anything like that you know of around Ireland? You weren't at the Bitcoin meeting last night, was it? Or the night before?
Night before.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. It was a busy week. No, not really. Not that I can think of.
Cool, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on.
Awesome,
I
thank
wanted
you.
to chat with you for a while. You know, when you gave the talk on the quantum threat, I thought that was very illuminating for me. I learned a lot. And I definitely wanted to pick your mind. I just tend to love this stuff. So I like talking to guys like you who are, you know, in the space. And
Yeah.
whenever you have another event, I'll definitely be there. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for the invite. This was fun.
Cool, man. Take care.
All right. Bye.